Okay, now we're in Pro, and we're going to go through most of the same steps we did in online, trying to subset the live stream gauges to just the ones that are within Knox County. And the difference between apply leaves you in the same window. OK does the analysis and closes the window. That's the only difference between them. So now you can see all the highlighted ones. Now remember, this is not permanently saving it as it did in online. It just is creating a selection layer. And you can make this layer permanent. Once again, it's not a whole new layer in your content. It's just this little trick pointing to the same data, having the structured query language in it, or the geographic criteria in it, that you can export if you want, but for most cases you probably would just leave it as a selection layer. And you can rename it to indicate that these are the live gauges now that are just in Knox County. Once again, just pointing to the same original data, but it has now subsetted for just Knox County. So I'm going to turn off the one that was for all of Tennessee. So now I'm over to Goose Creek again, looking at the parks, the same situation as with the online, trying to compare intersect with completely contains, or completely within, sorry. So now we're first doing the intersect one, so it should grab any of the parks that are, you see how quick it is. It's just almost instantaneous, the analysis. I'm running this on my desktop version, not running off of Citrix. So we see we have those same 6 parks. You might wonder why that little park up there is not selected, because it's so close to the edge of that boundary for the watershed. But as you start to zoom in, you see, in fact, they do not touch. So unless it's crossed by or touches that line, or it's completely within, it won't get selected in the intersect query. So now I'm going to go and do the same query for Goose Creek, but now I'm going to say that it has to completely contain the park. Has to be completely within. The parks have to be completely within the selected watershed, which is Goose. So now I end up with just those same 3 parks that we got when we did it online. So now moving on to the next. And just showing you once again, I could have made a layer from the selection. I could have exported it if I wanted to. Just to remind you, you can do that. So I cleared that selection, and now I'm going back out to all the watersheds again, the whole county. And now I'm trying to find the public schools that are within a distance. Probably don't need to use the geodesic because I'm in pretty close here, so the curvature of the earth is not such an issue. So I'm trying to find, once again, those schools that within 1 mile of a park. Back to that premise that I'm going to do some program at the park, and I want to know what schools can attend. So there we see all the schools that are within 1 mile of a city park, or I should say a city or a county park. It could be either one. And now I want to try to do that nearest to, finding the stream segment that's nearest to each school. If I want to like create an adopt a stream program or do some sort of a little fun activity down at the stream with the teachers. But we cannot do it in Pro. There is actually no nearest to. We have to do a spatial join, which you're going to learn about in the next few weeks. And that will pull in the nearest to, and you'll end up with that query by geography. It's just a little different in the Pro version. The last one is finding the watersheds that completely contain a park. So the park can't be just touching them. The park has to be completely within them. So we're going to start with the watersheds, and then we're going to say completely contains. So it can't be just touching. Contains would mean it would also grab ones that were just touching. But this one has to be completely within. And then you see you get those same watersheds that we got when we did it with online. And you see these watersheds that aren't selected actually don't have a park within them. And then, of course, we can also do the opposite. Now, in online, it actually lists the opposite as a choice. In Pro, you have to pick it, and then you have to hit that invert spatial relationship at the bottom. And that basically gives you the opposite of the selection. So now we didn't do this in online, but now you see the ones that selected the watersheds that don't actually have a park that's completely within them.